Namaskar and welcome to StudyIQ. I am your friend Rahul. The agenda for today's discussion is you people, or I would say future you, the future bureaucrats of the nation, future IAS. Our discussion is about Indian Administrative Service officers and their employment after retirement. We are going to raise certain questions like, can an IAS officer take up a private job after retirement? Can an IAS officer join politics immediately after retirement? We'll try to answer these questions in this video lecture. From exam point of view, you are going to understand a very important concept called as cooling off period from the Central Civil Services rules. Now you say, sir, I understood the agenda of today's discussion, but why are we having this discussion at all? If you are from Odisha, I am quite sure you must have heard about this news. A day after taking voluntary retirement from IAS, former IAS officer V.K. Pandian, he was given cabinet rank post. Now, V.K. Pandian was an IAS officer in Odisha cadre, where he has served for almost 23 years in Odisha, and he resigned from his post. He was IAS, he resigned. He gave his resignation to the President of India, and the day his resignation was accepted, the very next day, he was given the post or a cabinet rank post in the government. And he'll be working very closely with the Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik. I would say more or less he would be like a deputy chief minister, although the term is not there, but I would say it would be very akin to the deputy chief minister's post itself. So in this video lecture, we'll understand, is it fine? Is it legal? Are there any issues with this? Or if he was not given a cabinet rank post, say if he had taken up some private sector job, was it possible? We'll try to answer all these questions. All right, let's begin. But before that, to all the UPSC civil services aspirants, future IAS, right? StudyIQ's P2I program has begun from 23rd October. The initial orientation class is over. The classes are running, but you still have an opportunity to get yourself admitted till 31st October. This is the most comprehensive batch for UPSC civil services preparation, because we will be with you through prelims, through mains, through interview, for whatever year you choose, say 2024 attempt, 25, 26, because we have different validities. You can take up according to your convenience and according to your format, say English, Hindi, or in a bilingual format as well. Just visit our website www.studyiq.com and enroll. I'll see you in the class. All right? Right. Let's begin our discussion. As I told you, the big question for today's discussion is this: can IAS officer take up a private job after retiring from the service? Now, the answer to this would be yes. I know that logically it must be yes, but there are certain rules and regulations regarding this. Now, if I change this private job to politics, we'll get to know about this in the second half. First, we'll talk about the private job, because from exam point of view, we need to understand the concept of cooling off period. Now, this cooling off period is a period of time for which some time that must pass before a person can take up any other job, right? It's basically a period where you're not allowed to do certain things. All right. From the perspective of all India services, officials or bureaucrats who retire, who take voluntary retirement, or whose say age is over now, so that they are retired now, they have to take up a cooling off period. Before 2015, this cooling off period was 2 years, but right now cooling off period is 1 year. That means, to answer this question, yes, but only after the cooling off period of 1 year. Now, if we look at the rules and regulations, the AIS, All India Services Death Cum Benefit Rules, and All India Services Pension Rules, Rule 26 of the Death Cum Benefit Rules and Rule 9 of the CCS Pension Rules, they clearly highlight that an individual who retires from the service, who retires from IAS, they need to serve, or they need to cool off for 1 year. After that, they can take up a private job or a commercial job. Now, the question is, why do we need this? Or why such a clause is provided? Why cooling off period is needed? Now, you do understand, IAS, whoever is retiring, they will be at a senior post. They will be at a very high level. That means they are involved in policy implementation, of course, but they are also involved largely in policy making as well. That means they have a lot of information regarding government's contract, government works, tenders, etc. And this cooling off period is to ensure that there is no possible conflict of interest after leaving IAS. there is a possibility of conflict of interest, isn't it? So immediately, say an IAS retires and immediately he joins a private sector job, and to the private sector job they give all the information that they had with them during their government job. That is nothing but conflict of interest, isn't it? Right? So to avoid this, 1 year cooling off period has been provided. Now you have a question, sir, what happens if an IAS immediately after retiring they join a private job, a commercial job, right? What will happen? The CCS rules, they highlight that in such a scenario, if they do it, see, first of all, they can do it by taking an exception from the government, yes, but if they do not inform the government and take up a private job, then their part of pension or entire pension can be stopped. All right, that's the repercussion of taking up a private job without informing the government, without taking permission from the government, without waiving of the cool off period. Now the question is, sir, what is this commercial employment? What is this private job? Post retirement commercial employment, according to the CCS rules, it shall include being an agent of a company, of a cooperative society, of a firm, basically any private sector job, private trading business job, etc. Or if you're setting up your own practice independently or as a partner in some firm, both these clauses include. So basically I would say any sort of private job, you need to serve that cooling off period. After that you can join very easily. Now remember, this does not include employment under a body corporate substantially or completely owned by Government of India or say the state government. So in the other government agencies, etc., they can be given some sort of work. You do know that many retired officials, say retired judges, retired bureaucrats, etc., they are put into different organizations, say NHRC, SHRC, etc. Right? So that is allowed. Okay. So for a private sector job, there are certain rules and regulations. Now question comes up, sir, can government waive this off? Yes, government can waive this off. Let me give you some example. Government can say, you can join the private job immediately. I will allow you. I will just give you a no objection certificate. You can go and join. Now, a no objection certificate from the cadre controlling authority is needed, and it has to be shown that it has to be proved that they do not have strategic information from the past 3 years of this service. They do not have any conflict of interest, or it is not going to harm the intelligence gathering or national security of our nation. Then the government can give the NOC basically, and you can join immediately. And this has happened before as well. Say, for example, the most prominent example here would be S. Jaishankar, the current external affairs minister. When he left his job or when he retired from his service, he joined Tata Sons, and for that the 1 year period was waived off. So immediately after retiring, he joined the Tata Sons. In fact, as I told you, the government can take up, or retired officials, they can be employed or they can take up other work, other jobs with the government. Say this happened. This was the example from last year itself. Arun Goyal, currently the election commission, he is the election commissioner, right? He retired around November 2022 only. I think he retired one day before the day his retirement occurred. The way he also took VRS. I think he had 1 year service left. Before that, he took voluntary retirement. The day his resignation was accepted, he was made the election commissioner. That is fine. Okay. But let's come to the agenda. You have a question already. Sir, you said there is some sort of cooling off period. But what I have observed is there are many people who quit the job and who are into active politics as of now. Right? There is K. Annamalai from Tamil Nadu, etc. I can give example. And the biggest case in point is here itself. Right? Former IAS officer V.K. Pandian, the day his resignation was accepted, next day itself, he was made chief aide of the chief minister. He was given a cabinet rank post, and he would be running very important schemes. After taking VRS, he would be responsible, or he is the chairman of 5T, Transparency, Technology, Teamwork, Time and Transformation Initiative of Odisha. He is also the chairperson of Nabin Odisha program, and the appointment came, as I told you, very next day itself. All right. In fact, many people are dubbing V.K. Pandian to be successor of Naveen Patnaik. You do know that in upcoming months there is election due in Odisha, and perhaps the next successor to Naveen Patnaik would be V.K. Pandian. Many people are highlighting that can he succeed Patnaik. It is said that he has been very close to the chief minister In fact, there have been a couple of formal complaints against VK Pandian where he shared the dais with politicians, etc. Some other opposition politicians had complained that being an officer, being an IAS, he has close relations with the politicians, etc. And finally, he has retired, and now he has taken up the cabinet post. So the question is, sir, is it legal? Is it legal? Yes, it's fine. It's fine. But now you have one more doubt. Sir, this doesn't make sense to me. Now, for a bureaucrat who's retiring, they need to serve this cooling off period for 1 year if they want to take up any private employment. Why doesn't the same logic apply with politics as well? Don't you think there will be conflict of interest there? Yes, there would be conflict of interest. And that is what common sense also tells, isn't it? And that is what the Election Commission of India, the Supreme Court have been highlighting, that the IAS officers or the bureaucrats after retirement, they should also have some sort of cooling off period before joining politics. In fact, way back in 2014 itself, the Election Commission of India as well as the judiciary had asked the law ministry, is it possible to bring the cooling off period rules for bureaucrats who retire from joining politics? As lately as 2022, May 2022, Supreme Court had asked the lawmakers that there is a need to bring cooling off period to ex-bureaucrats who want to join politics. This has not happened. In 2014, the law ministry categorically gave a legal explanation. They said that if we bring such rules and regulations, that test would not pass the classification under Article 14. You don't know, Article 14 is right to equality, right? Equality before law and equal protection of law. Law ministry said that if we bring cooling off period for people who want to join politics, that would not be held valid, or that would not pass the test of Article 14. So as of now, just to plainly answer you, if you are an IAS, as I told you, discussion is about you. When you become IAS, if you take voluntary retirement, you cannot take up a private job till that cooling off period is over, but you can join politics as soon as possible. Right? That is the standing as of now. Probably in future, some rules and regulations might come, because the Election Commission of India as well as the Supreme Court, they have time and again highlighted that there must be a cooling off period for people who want to join politics as well. But till now, no rules are there. They're free to join politics quickly. As you saw the example with VK Pandian as well, that the day he retired, next day, he is, I would say, a minister. I would say deputy chief minister. Right? Although the term is not there, but a lot of power is there with him, because he's the chairman of these two schemes, and they are the flagship schemes of the Odisha government. All right. So I hope things are clear to you. From exam point, if you do remember about the cooling off period, the same thing does not apply for judiciary. Now, this has been one of the issues. All right. As I told you about the CCS rules, Central Civil Services rules, they apply to central services, All India Services rules, and central services rules. But for judiciary also, the same thing must apply. And in judiciary, there has to be some sort of cooling off period, which has been a bone of contention for a very long time. We have seen that retired judges being given other posts very quickly. So in judiciary also, you do not have that legal notion of cooling off period. But do remember that that can also be a tricky issue or tricky question from UPSC mains perspective. I hope you have gotten the answer. Can IAS join a private job? Not immediately. Can IAS after retirement join politics? Yes, immediately. All right. Thank you for watching this video. Jai Hind.